Welcome everyone to Flux Bug Scrub number 18 and a half. Let's get started. So I filtered the list down to only discussions, just to get a sense of where we were last time and where we could start to not be too close to things that have just been posted. Maybe how about in this range? Things that are at least 7 days old.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's with 18 and a half?
Hmm?
You said Bug Scrub 18 and a half?
Yeah.
Half?
We've neglected to record a couple of bug scrubs, and also
okay.
I'm pretty sure that last time we forgot to generate the spreadsheet number 18. So we were working with a week old data at least, but that's okay because it's what's behind the link that matters anyway. So and let's filter out actually answered ones too. Let's see how many that leaves us with. Okay. We'll get a couple of these marked off to go. Send notification generic providers alerts to Elastic. Has anyone worked with Elastic before?
Not me.
I have, but only barely. Looks like there's a PR open for it. Cool. So the user wanted to include headers with their looks like there's still some work ongoing here.
Santoshi did something for our secret. Pull request.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I sort of just added him as a co-author and tried to put in your suggestions. It was just a little doc that I added, and yeah, some of Stefan's reviews.
So do you have anything else to add to this one, or should we just move on?
I think it's fine. I'm going to test that it actually works because I just added docs and made the PR. Then Stefan will merge it if it does.
Cool, great.
I have something related to this, related to the notification controller. So I was wondering, why don't we have a IRC notification support? If some community they are using, or if someone is using IRC for chat, do we recommend them to use generic notifications?
Well, basically, we add notifications based on requests. Like if someone opens up an issue saying, "Oh, we want notification for IRC," we'll probably do it. If I would look into it.
I was just wondering. So if there is a need, we can add it, right?
Yeah, if there's a need, we should definitely be able to add it.
I was thinking there must be some kind of a bridge already. That seems like an old problem that must have been solved before, but maybe it would be easier to just have support in Flux for IRC. Cool.
I was thinking about this because all the other providers we have, they are like very proprietary. We don't have any open ones.
That's true. IRC is making a comeback.
IRC v3.
Is Matrix proprietary? I think you can host your own.
No, Matrix is not, right? Matrix is open.
I never heard of IRC v3. This is a brand new thing for me. I'm gonna have to check it out later.
I think so.
Cool. All right, we got another one. Failed to clone repository, SSH handshake failed, known hosts key mismatch.
This is related to the GitHub changing their keys. I saw this in Weave users Slack a few days ago. Right?
Yeah, I'm wondering if we have a good link that I can just post quickly.
Stefan, if that error, if you do this search, Google search of that error, SSH handshake, you will see Stefan's comments in a Flux discussion, I guess. Open that discussion. I think that's the one. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
Great. This looks good.
Is the person using GitHub?
That's a good question before we tell them this is the problem. Yeah, no, they're not.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. But I think it's the same issue related.
Okay, he said it isn't the same.
Oh, okay.
So that's when I saw it, I was like, oh, maybe he's not using GitHub.
Well, thank you for reading carefully. Before we send this person unhelpful information that doesn't do anything for them. So GoGet might not support ED 25519. Is that a thing? I don't think so.
I think GoGet supports it. It's libgit2 that doesn't support.
25.
Oh, what happened? Never mind. Sorry. Disappeared from my screen. I said, oh no. Okay, so yeah, it says in the very first line, this is not the same issue. Okay, well, I don't have anything for this now, but maybe we'll come across something as we go.
I would suspect it to be related to the host. Maybe the host has a different key associated with that IP
setting
address.
up Git. I know that I had issues, but I can't remember what it was. I had a self-hosted GTS server when I was trying to
I
test
think
something.
you
And I
need to
knew
clean the
trying to-
non-host file.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, something like that. It's basically when you're hosting your own servers, it can get tricky. And now I can't remember how I resolved it because eventually I was able to get it to work.
I read in a few places where you have to clean up your
Okay. I
non-host.
remember what the problem was, but it's probably different from. I was trying to SSH into the compute server itself. Like I didn't configure it to SSH through. Like I needed to set up. It was basically like I was trying to SSH into the. It was on G Cloud into the server itself rather than the GitHub, the Git part of that was on the server.
Get remote,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. Maybe this person's issue is different. Probably different. So yeah.
So Flux itself doesn't read the known hosts file, right? That's only Weave GitOps that does that?
It's the line it does because it uses GoGit, I guess.
I mean from the
Or from no,
from
I
the
don't think.
.sh directory on the client. I was looking to see if they were using a custom port or something, and I didn't see that either, so not sure. Okay, let's try the next one. Dependabot-like workflow for container image automation. Yeah. So it sounds like what they would like is if every time there's a new image update for a given
With a
image,
pull request.
it gets its own pull request, its own branch. So you can merge it independently of the others.
I tried Vigo 2 days ago. It feels like something that Vigo would do, create pull requests for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be right. Hmm.
Now, may not be a use case, like Vigo may be looking to implement it because the workflow I saw in Vigo was like this, it would create pull requests for everything. You go and merge them. And maybe Vigo can open source, so it's already open source, donate it maybe somehow to the Flux
Yeah.
community.
Wigo actually opens pull requests with the GitHub API, right? So that's cool. We should probably at least mention that.
I don't have much experience. I just tried it 2 days ago.
I've
Just my
tried it a
observation.
couple of times too, and only recently, really, I think they added the pull request feature. That's a brand new thing. So okay, I'll follow that up later. The other thing I noticed about the spreadsheet is I did a comparison. There was one in particular I was looking for, and it didn't copy all the statuses. This is the outstanding bug that I'm aware of, but there was one in particular that I was looking to see copied from the last one, and it didn't copy, and I wasn't sure why it wouldn't do that. I think this was it. 282. Let's see if it did the same thing again before we move on to the next one. Oh, it didn't copy it at all. Maybe it's been closed or it's an issue. I guess it's closed. Let's see what happened to that one. No, it's not closed. That's very odd. Oh, there it is. And there's another one. Okay, that might explain it. That's what I'm looking for. Cool. Sorry, I don't want to have a debugging session in the middle of everything, but that was something that was bugging me. So let me put it back the way it was. Okay, managing multiple Kubernetes instance clusters with a single Flux instance.
Don't we have examples for this already?
We
Is it
do.
Cappy?
The one I'm thinking of is, I think, this one has something about identical environments and add clusters. Maybe there's been a lot of discussion here already though, so maybe that's already been posted. Well, I can't pick this one as the answer because it's wrong. I guess we probably want to post another link here and close it with that one to. Does this say anything about the cube config? Or how to get a cube config file in there? Maybe it doesn't. No, I don't think we do have a good example for this. Maybe there's one in the docs.
I thought I saw it, some examples or some demo repository with Lee. Maybe he did some demo in one of the webinars. Maybe wrong.
Hmm. Okay. Probably need a better example for this, I think. Out of memory of image automation controller. You're seeing the ephemeral storage of the automation controller grow quite rapidly.
This was fixed by some patch. I remember seeing some patch from Mike.
There's a patch for this, and it's
I
going.
think it was merged. There was like whenever we fail to remove a directory, we are not doing error check, and I think Michael added an error check. So if Flux failed to delete a directory due to some reason, previously it was being ignored. Now, if that happens, it will not be ignored. There will be a retry in the reconciliation, which will try to delete the directory again. That way, we'll clean up things. It was related to error handling.
This one?
I may be 20 days ago, maybe. Image automation. I think this is the one, but it's just log. Okay, maybe it was just to help debug the issue. It didn't really solve the issue.
Well, so we can at least refer them to this and say, unless there's another one, have you upgraded to this version, and do you find these?
Is this released, this version of image automation?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. 20 days ago? Probably not. Maybe. "19 days ago, there was a release. And yeah, I have that version installed in my cluster now, and I haven't done anything other than upgrade Flux as far as image automation controller goes.
Okay, this is available, release in image automation 0.19 version. So it must be available. The latest version. Right?
Oh, did anyone look at this one before I saw this? This was interesting. Want to replace objects in a list, which I don't think you can do with a strategic merge patch. So maybe it's an easy answer. Maybe I already answered here. What does it say? Does anyone know any tricks for merging lists that I don't? I know. So I noticed two things wrong here. One is here we're talking about an array, and then later we're not talking about it as an array anymore. So I'm guessing that it gets overwritten. Why don't we just tell them to try fixing this? Because I think it is supposed to be able to append to arrays in general, isn't it?
Not sure. Haven't spent much time with this. But appending should be like a easy operation. Yeah. Deleting something from an array may be hard.
Okay, order of resources to be applied. How should I manage the order of resources being applied? Depends on, oh, this one's got a lot of attention already. Ah, yeah, okay, so this one is about Rook chart specifically, which is one of the popular prominent charts that doesn't include a separate instruction for how to install the CRD, I guess. So like if you look at the cert manager instructions, they give you lots of information about what to do when it's time to upgrade the CRD. I don't know if the case is that Rook just doesn't change their CRDs very often, so it's not an issue for them, but it doesn't look like they have any instruction like that.
I think I read about it, the case of CRDs and Cert Manager, that they're afraid that Helm upgrade will not upgrade the CRDs. So they did not use Helm to install the CRDs or something like that. Is that true?
There are a couple of different guides, and the first one is not for Helm, basically, is the way I would sum up the, they were worried enough about, looks like they've even reorganized this so it doesn't look anything like what it did before, but Helm is way down the list on ways to install. And if you do go to Helm, they tell you
CRD separately.
specifically, yeah, you can install CRDs as part of the Helm release, but it comes with all this warning, which is good because
I remember reading about this some time ago, because Helm doesn't manage CRDs properly when you update. So
yeah,
they're worried about that.
it doesn't manage them at all, if I understand correctly. It will install them once
And then never update.
and then you're on your own for how you do upgrades, which is probably actually a very reasonable position to take from the perspective of Helm, because there's so many things that can go wrong when you upgrade CRDs. And the people that are just using Helm are not necessarily the most well informed about Kubernetes because it makes things so much easier. So there's lots of potential to break stuff. But the way cert manager, I always hold this out as the best example of instructions that give you everything you need to work with Flux, because not only do they warn you about Helm's behavior with respect to CRDs, but they also publish the CRDs with every release as an artifact in the release. So that's really good. So did this question get marked as an answer? Yeah, okay, cool. So should we move on to issues? We got all these discussions that we marked.
Today, someone opened an issue saying the bucket controller doesn't work with the latest bucket controller doesn't work with S3. Do you run S3 tests?
I do not me personally, no.
Okay. They reported that the latest version doesn't work, but they downgraded and that works. We need to investigate what happened.
This most recent issue here, this looks pretty new.
A few hours ago, an hour ago, yeah. This
Huh. Very interesting.
To try reproducing. But this is not blocking the release because this is not that this was introduced in the previous version, I guess. So we'll have a release by Friday.
So let's go with like a similar about things that are at least 7 days old. Okay. Oh, SOPS is unmaintained. Has everyone heard about this discussion? Does anyone know anyone at Mozilla?
No.
SOPS is unmaintained. Oh, that's bad for us.
That is pretty bad, yeah.
Do they add new features or is it just updating the dependencies?
Well, this discussion starts with one of the maintainers sort of calling himself and another person out who are both maintainers. I don't know if there are any other maintainers. But the last release was quite some time ago. So I think it's officially unmaintained at this point. I don't know what we do about that, but it's good to mention it at least. I already looked at this one. It says, I'm still interested in this. So this is about the common label. Has anyone heard that common labels or common annotations are going away in Customize? I'm not sure. After reading this thread, I got the idea that Jonathan wants us to have something to address that, but I think the Customize project will probably address it. If they're actually going to remove this feature. Let's see, I didn't see this yet. just want to write as little YAML as possible. So the big issue that came up in this thread is that if you use common labels on a deployment, then it writes the label through to the pods, and that means that you cannot update common labels without setting force to overwrite fields that are not allowed to change. So that's the story here. I'm not sure there's really anything for us here. We might want to look at older issues or something so that we're not butting up against things that are actively being addressed already. Maybe this one. Documentation doesn't mention which scopes are needed for the GitHub personal access token. Daniel seems to have identified the doc that needs to change if we want to add a reference to this information. I know we already have it in 2 places, I think. Does anyone want to follow this one up?
Looks like the person will be handling it. No?
Well, it's already triage, good first issue, so someone will definitely pick it up. Has anyone looked into the issue about the container registry on a non-standard port?
I remember seeing the PR.
There is one.
Same.
Yep. There is a PR for that.
Wait, was it container registry or Git? No, I don't remember. Are you sure? Let's see. Oh, I remember this. So we added some validation, and that validation was causing this issue. Validation was to, when users enter, the input is some invalid registry address. We added some way to detect it and raise an error, but didn't use the partner.
Okay, so there's a resolution in the pipeline for this.
I think Relu is working. Yeah, he's working on it. He added the validation. This is related to some article somebody wrote about how URL parsing is implemented in various languages, and it's kind of a very risky thing. Every language has the multiple URL parsers, and they behave differently. And it's hard as a programmer. What do you do? What do you use?
Fun. Fun, that's what we call fun. Well, okay, so there's actually, we can keep that at metal. Here we go. Legacy docs are difficult to find. I know this is my issue. There I am. Just to highlight how hard they are to find. It's not really that hard if you know where they are, but that's not a good way to look at it. So we've got docs, but the docs are unversioned, so there's no drop down here. And if you go to docs, there's no mention of legacy. The first mention of Flux v1 is here, and that's the link to the docs. I don't know. Is that too hard to find? The docs reviewers, people thought it was too hard to find. They didn't find it.
Looks like it's intentionally done because V1 is old. It's been more than a year.
I do think it's intentionally done, and I'm not sure that we're going to do anything about this issue, to be honest, because we don't really want to call any more attention to Flux V1 than we have to. And that comes up periodically. So maybe for GA, when we start versioning the docs, if we decide that we're going to do that, or if we don't, we can address the question then.
I see some message in the chat.
This one?
In the chat, Zoom chat.
Oh. Ah, I see. Welcome, Olmo, by the way, and Andreas. I didn't see you both come in.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, sneaking in silently.
Okay. It's stated in the docs that reorder is set to legacy. Does anyone know what is special about Kubeflow that makes it? No, this is really not a good report. Guess we can put a label. Okay. Where to go next? Maybe down here. Latest Git revision, sometimes not available. I think I've seen this issue. Is this Helm controller or Helm release? Or doesn't mention Helm release at all? It's customized controller. Okay. So I would guess, let's see, he's reconciling every 10 minutes, the customization. I was going to guess that he had that number set to something very low, and that would increase the chances of the customization reconciling itself while the Git repository was in the process of downloading the next revision. But maybe that's not the case. What I was wondering is, is there any possibility that the source controller would send the signal to customize controller that it's time to sync before the artifact is actually ready? Because I know the customized controller subscribes to sources and it syncs immediately when they get updated.
So it subscribes to the source object, and whenever source controller has a new object, it will update the revision, the status of the object, and that will notify customize that it needs to update. But we update the status at the very end after we have downloaded everything, not when we are trying to download it.
Okay, that's the information I was looking for. So
when we download the new artifact, do the symlink changes for the latest, at the very end, we add it to the status, the new revision.
okay. That's why it's good to have lots of people on this call, because if anyone is wrong, then someone will surely call us out, and I can talk confidently about this just based on your say so without having actually read the code. I will definitely go back and read the code at some point, but I can't promise it'll be soon. Okay, when we are using Helm release with values from field using a config map, we have a need where we do not want to trigger a Helm release on config map change, but only Helm release itself is updated. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Update the chart so it adds a new value to the schema. Push the updated value to the config map. Looks like the thing this person is not saying is that they are using a Git repository source. Well, this reminds me, the hard to search for thing that we've mentioned before. Here, it's in the Helm release API doc, I think, and it's hard to find. It's called revision strategy or something like that. Reconcile strategy. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure I just answered this person's question at all. The config map upgrade will trigger a Helm release. I'll come back to this.
There's a question in the chat. Can you check?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Default customized behavior is to update the config map with a hash, which will trigger. Yeah, okay, that's other good information for this issue. Maybe will be related. The config map generator. I saw someone link to that.
I was asking yesterday about that.
Maybe or maybe not related, but I'm just going to grab this link in case it comes up because this is really handy. Thank you. Substitute issue. We are at about the 10-minute warning. If anybody has any issues that you really want to make sure we discuss, please put them in the chat. Okay. The substitute does not behave well with Hmm. That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that to be a problem. I was going to tell him to base 64 encode that, but I'm not sure why you would have to. This is valid YAML, right? This is just a string. Or does YAML require strings to be double quoted? Not sure.
I think it's referring to like a JSON object. It was expecting a string. Like those curly braces are a JSON object, right?
There is a
Just like
JSON
this.
object type. I see. Oh, that's interesting. Hmm.
So maybe those single quotes are being ignored, and while it's parsing, it's interpreting it as an object because of the curly braces.
I really didn't know that you could have actual JSON objects, but maybe.
Depends on the interpreter, how it's parsing.
Yeah. Hmm. Guess that goes over here. Oops. Improve OpenSSF
Oh,
scorecard.
wait, there's a question in the chat.
Oops. Yeah. Just don't use single quotes. That might be a good suggestion. Let's see.
I'm not sure if that will help. Single quotes or double quotes. That's a YAML file, right? The interpreter. I don't know. Oh, I think Andreas has a question.
Okay.
It's in the chat. The second last message.
I have an issue setting images in the Flux customization. I don't think the Flux customization has images, and I think I saw this come up somewhere yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. That's from yesterday, and I saw that the bug scrub is today, so I thought I'd quickly hop in. By now, I found a ticket which implements that feature. So, yeah, I can ping it in the Slack channel, or what I was thinking, if I could get some initial pointers, I could also try to write an end-to-end test, because yeah, Stefan wrote something about a potential end-to-end test, but as far as I can see, there is none for this functionality that I'm looking for, or I'm trying to use.
Okay. Well, I can't think of any reason why we wouldn't support images substitution in the Flux customization abstractly, but in general, we don't always implement every feature that Customize did. But I think there's a good case for this one because it's a really common need, and some users won't be using Customize. Is there a specific reason why you don't want to put the images section in the overlay itself?
Yeah, the branching strategy is just different in the two repositories. So one has basically one main branch, and the other is based on release branches. So this is why that doesn't fit quite well, and it would make our workflow simpler. Yeah, as I said, I can just quickly ping you the.
I'm interested to look at it for sure. If you have the number, I can even just pull it up now. We have all the pull requests from every repo on here now.
I think the ticket number was 1139 or something. Just let me check. Sorry. Yeah, the thing is, I think it's not in this list. So,
do you know which repo it's open against? It's Customize controller.
It was customized controller. Yeah, I think it was customized controller pull request 139, or the ticket number was 139. And it is already merged. That's the thing. So the functionality should be there. It's just not working for me, and I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong or yeah. Sorry, let me quickly check.
$149. That looks like it was closed.
No, 139. Was it pull request 139? So 139. Okay, sorry. I can also gather some information and then we can.
Yeah, we're almost out of time here for today, but I'll be
okay
back as usual. So
okay, then I'll ping you that link, and yeah, maybe we can try to find a way forward. So as I said, maybe it would even be possible for me to try writing an end-to-end test. Let's see.
Sure.
At least that's something I could try.
By the way, for everyone, if you are not aware, there's an attendance sheet here if you want to put your name on here, so we could get points.
Sure.
When we figure out how we give people points for this or whatever we're going to do. There'll be some kind of gamification component someday, I'm sure. Thanks everyone for coming to the Bug Scrub. Really enjoy this opportunity to meet up with Flux users. Hope everyone has a great day.
Okay, see you. Bye.